Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. I may be no better, but at least I am different. The person who has lived the most is not the one with the most years, but the one with the richest experiences. The first man who, having fenced in a piece of land, said, "This is mine," and found people naive enough to believe him, that man was the true founder of civil society. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. Nature never deceives us. It is we who deceive ourselves. The strongest is never strong enough to be always the master, unless he transforms strength into right and obedience into duty. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. The less a man knows, the more he talks. Man's first sentiment is that of his existence, his first care that of self-preservation. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Absolute silence leads to sadness. It is the image of death. The world of reality has its limits. The world of imagination is boundless. To renounce liberty is to renounce being a man, to surrender the rights of humanity and even its duties. Liberty consists in being able to do anything that does not harm others. I love life too much not to enter into the most serious consideration of it. All my misfortunes come from having thought too well of my fellows. The art of pleasing is the art of deception. Happiness, a good bank account, a good cook, and a good digestion. There is no subjection so perfect as that which keeps the appearance of freedom. The more a man has, the more he wants. Instead of filling a vacuum, it makes one. The public is a ferocious beast. One must either chain it or flee from it. What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? Suffering is the most powerful teacher of life. The person who has lived the most is not the one with the most years, but the one with the richest experiences. One great use of words is to hide our thoughts. A man's true character comes out when he's drunk. Free people, remember this maxim. We may acquire liberty, but it is never recovered if it is once lost. Virtue is a state of war, and to live in it we have always to combat with ourselves. Slaves lose everything in their chains, even the desire of escaping from them. The sure way to be cheated is to think oneself more cunning than others. People who know little are usually great talkers, while men who know much say little. Freedom can only be given to the possessor of property. The general will is always right, but the judgment which guides it is not always enlightened. The greatest gift we can give to others is our attention, happiness, a good bank account, a good cook, and a good digestion. All my misfortunes come from having thought too well of my fellows. No matter how much it hurts now, someday you will look back and realize your struggles changed your life for the better. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. I prefer liberty with danger to peace with slavery. The strongest is never strong enough to be always the master unless he transforms strength into right and obedience into duty. The world of reality has its limits. The world of imagination is boundless. To live is not to breathe, but to act. We are all dependent on one another, every soul of us on earth. The only way to deal with a temptress is to yield to her. Our affections as well as our bodies are in perpetual flux. The heart of another is a dark forest always, no matter how close it has been to one's own. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. It is a great misfortune to be unable to bear solitude. A feeble body weakens the mind. There is no shame in not knowing. The shame lies in not finding out. Man is the work of nature. He exists in nature. He is subject to its laws. He can neither break them nor leave them. Laws are always useful to those with possessions and harmful to those who have nothing. The will of the people is the best law. Virtue is a state of war, and to live in it we have always to combat with ourselves. Man is free, but everywhere he is in chains. The spirit of a nation resides in its people. We are not rich by what we possess, but rather by what we can do without. The essential function of art is moral, but a passionate, implicit morality, not didactic, a morality which changes the blood rather than the mind. The sovereign is not subject to the laws, for it is the maker of the law.